it down to Freak and Gravity's AD carry.
Hey, thank you very much, Riv. What's up? I'm here with Alltech after a really good performance, actually, against Team Liquid. So you guys are 2-0 against them. You told me that you're now 7-1 against I Will Dominate, which I think is hilarious. What were you kind of thinking coming into the match? Were you guys expecting to win? Was it going to be a close fight? What's up?
I think we expected ourselves to be like really, really close, but I didn't expect it to be this close. We kind of like analyzed how they 2v1'd, but I think I don't even recall if this game was a 2v1 or not.
It was a 2v1. Bunny messed with them in the jungle. You killed the turret first, then you lane swap back.
Yeah, so we kind of like didn't do what Soji did. It was just like hold the tower and die kind of thing. So we kind of was on an even ground then, but we gave up a few kills early, but we were still up some dragons, so that was really good.
So as the mid game played out, it seemed like it was pretty low action for a while. First kill was like 16 minutes in or whatever when Bunny gets one shot at a dragon fight. Why was the game slow, and then how'd you kind of get yourself sort of paced back up to win the game in the mid to late game?
I think before we started the game, we wanted like a really slow game because we thought that our comp was really, really good later because we can change fights instantly with Civility. So as long as we were able to farm up, which me and Keen and even Hanser did, we were able to, at a certain point, just Civility and like bum rush them kind of.
Yeah, it worked out for you guys. It was a good set of team fights. I actually want to ask you specifically about some of the AD carry stuff in this game. So you had a pretty slow and elongated game. Vayne seems to be good against Sivir in like a longer lane if you can never get a 1v1. How did you play around the fact that Piglet could try to assassinate you pretty frequently?
The thing though, I don't know, because it was really weird. His first base, he bought an Abyss Blade. So like Abyss Blade was like, it doesn't give any combat stats, so I have a pickaxe, so I wasn't really afraid of him. So what I wanted to do was just push the wave and just back up, push the wave and back up and just keep on farming. Because I don't want to give range for Vayne to just be able to like come, like just walk forward and just like kill me. So I was just able to push the wave back out, push the wave back out.
Cool, that worked out really well, so congrats on that one. Final question for you. After 2-0ing Team Liquid, you're going to play Team Liquid and CLG, I believe, next week, at the very least in the near future. Yeah, TSM next week then. How's the rest of your matchups against these top teams going to go?
I think we can do really, really well against them. The game against CLG, we kind of screwed up, so we lost early game, but the TSM game was really, really close. Even though like Keen went 0-9, whatever, but like that wasn't the point. So I think it would be really close. And I think if we're able to do at least 1-1 or even 2-0 or something, that we're gonna like be a top 4 team.
All right, top 4. Thanks very much, and we're gonna send it to you guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you, Freak. Victory there for Gravity. As was mentioned, that gives them the head-to-head moving through the summer split 2-0 against Team Liquid. Yeah. But this was a really interesting game because it took a while for things to get off the ground.
It was really fun for us watching it, actually, because we were sitting back about 16 minutes into the game. We're like, so nothing has happened, but should have something happened? And we were kind of going through all the possibilities, and both teams were playing the early game pretty well. They were very reactive to what each other were doing, but there was no immediate forceful thing. I know Crumbs did have that one tweet saying that the two junglers should have been ganking the immobile mid laners, but even the immobile mid laners recognized that weakness, were playing extremely passive and had good ward coverage. So a lot of it was just kind of blow for blow, little tiny jabs throughout the majority of the first 35 minutes.
It's very predictable, too, because when you look at these types of champions that were drafted, you're like, I don't want to gank a Vayne and Alistar. They're just going to knock me back. I don't want to gank a Sivir and Janna. They're just going to knock me back, run away, right? You might get some summoner spells, so it's like, I want to go middle against these low mobility champions. But the jungler's like, I see that plan. This is where I would go. Ward it up. There was tons of wards. You saw him move just every time he could smite the Raptor camp. He did, so he could give vision and allow his laner to be safe.
Now, the most notable thing in that first 15 minutes was that Gravity, lane swapping to the top lane, still managed to secure the first dragon, whereas Liquid, lane swapping to the bottom, didn't pick that up, which you might normally expect from the team with the strong side in the bottom.
A lot of that was attributed to the invade and the fact that they started in the red side on Team Liquid. They went up in the north side of the jungle, and they had to go all the way down to that bottom side. And then they got swapped back in that time, and it was able to take up that dragon. So very interesting that they weren't able to pick up the dragon on their way out, but that they immediately swapped it, or immediately got Abyss Blade on the back and then started. Like, that was kind of a misplay there. But overall, this game was really good. Yeah. This game was really good. There's only like 2 points in it where I'm like, okay, Bunny Fufu getting caught for first blood, probably not that great. Special Flash Pulverize, probably not that great. But overall strategy was really...
Yeah, Piglet's build.
I was gonna say you brought up the Avarice Blade, so I was gonna take us there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So
I
do actually want to echo, like we mentioned at the top of the show, that COD and TSM was the game of the week, but like this would have been the game of the week had that marquee matchup not existed, and I think it delivered in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Piglet got lost in his build. Obviously, Avarice played first, loses lane power, but if you're rushing the Shiv, that's understandable. From there, though, at one point he had Shiv and IE, a Vamp Scepter, a Pickaxe, and a Zeal. He couldn't make up his mind what he wanted to build. Ideally, if you're against an armor-stacking tank like Hecarim who can stack shields, you don't want the build Piglet ended up with. He ended up selling his Zeal so he could get a QSS. That lost his protection against Hecarim. I think this is a type of game where Piglet actually wants to do a Blade of the Ruin King and maybe one of those double Phantom Dancer type things, just so he can get the true damage, which is the only way he's actually going to hit that 300 armor Hecarim. We noted that Piglet only did 15,000 damage to champions, which is less than Gnar, because he was only having to build for that Hecarim, and he never did it properly because he could never kill Hanzo.
It's such a difficult situation, though, because you're one of two threats on that team, and you're building against two shielding champions. There's a Janna, there's an Orianna, and then you have two tanks who are going to be building flat armor, right?
Yep.
Like, Janna's taking care of the Aegis for them. They only have to worry about him in terms of physical damage and some true damage. So all they do is just stack this armor. So double Frozen Heart, Thorn Mail for Hanser. Yeah. It's just really, really difficult to find a prime target on that squad. So his build may not be optimal for the situation, but it's like one of two builds that you could go. He just didn't choose the right one. The other one, though, even with Frozen Hearts on the table, is it really that great?
I know.
It's
a hard
weird
world to build that, but I just, the one thing that happened is he got lost in his build.
Yeah.
Because no matter what choice he decided to go with, you can have benefits to the IE build, you can have benefits to a Phantom Dancer, Blade of the Ruin King build, but there's never a benefit to buying a Zeal and selling it later.
Yeah.
All right, well, ultimately, this game ended up being incredibly exciting, as you mentioned. Would have been the game of the week if not for CLG TSM. I do want to just, move into the late game and look at how the game ended. As we mentioned, there weren't a ton of individual misplays. Yeah, everybody was playing great. We saw Victor, Zhonya's, Oriol's time after time. So, the crux of the game, where did it break apart for Team Liquid?
I think it was the Baron. When they were able to give the Baron over, Gravity got the Baron into their hands, they already had Banner of Command built, so they were just able to siege up with those minions. So the fight before the Baron was kind of the big crux of everything.
I think, in general, the team fighting from Gravity was a little bit more organized. I think Keen and Move, specifically Move, had some really divisive Gragas ultimates that gave Gravity windows to pull an advantage, which they then used that small advantage into an objective. Obviously, X Special's Flash Pulverize was another key factor, so slight misplays from Team Liquid, but mainly just good team fight coordination from Gravity.
All right, well, there you have it. The young Shotcaller and Bunny Fufu pulling the team together. They're looking in shape, in step with each other. We're going to step away, but don't go anywhere, because after this, Cloud9 will try to grab a piece of 6th place when they take on Team Impulse. We'll be right back.
1v1 ball cup or 1v1 in league?
No. It's about how many points you get in fantasy.
Yeah.
So right now, I'd be first, and I'd choose my own room.
Chaos Storm raining down hell on Gravity and dominates over the wall. No Seeker to take his prey out, but the hit comes in.
Hey, fun! Rek'Sai! Nice, go! Victor!
Everybody's piled up into one spot, but Chaos Storm cannot come out at the right time. They're able to start shutting down Team Liquid. Gravity will have the 2-0 on the summer split over Team Liquid.